You are watering your container plants every single day, maybe even 2 times a day. But by the late afternoon, the leaves are dropping. The soil is dry. Your plants look miserable. You feel like a slave to your watering can. What if watering every single day is actually making your plants struggle instead of helping them? For many container gardeners, daily watering is treating the symptom instead of solving the real problem. There is a very simple secret that experienced gardeners use. It takes exactly 2 minutes to do. It costs almost $0, and it helps the soil stay moist much longer even during long stretches of hot summer weather. Today, I'm going to show you the simple mulch trick that completely changed the way I grow plants in pots. When you put a plant in a pot or a container, you completely change the rules of nature. Your container is exposed on all sides. The summer sun beats down on the plastic walls. The hot air moves directly across the bare surface of the soil. When the top layer dries out, the water evaporates right out of the root zone. Your plant goes into shock. It stops growing new leaves and drops its flowers. You might think the answer is simply adding more water. But when potting soil gets completely dry, it actually repels water. Have you ever poured water into a dry pot and it just runs down the inside of the plastic and out the bottom holes? The soil did not absorb a single drop. Your plant is dying of thirst right after you watered it. The real solution is stopping evaporation. You need a shield. Taking 2 inches of organic material and spreading it over your potting mix starts slowing evaporation right away. In professional terms, this method is called mulching. You are putting a protective layer over your dirt. Think about a hot cup of coffee. If you put a lid on it, the liquid stays hot and wet for hours. Your container soil works the exact same way. By covering the bare dirt, you block the direct sunlight from baking the surface. The moisture stays locked inside the pot where the roots can actually drink it. Years ago, I was watering my patio peppers twice a day and still watching them wilt every single afternoon. I was frustrated and ready to give up on growing vegetables in pots. One summer, I could not understand why my container plants were struggling so much while the plants growing in the ground were doing just fine. Applying a thick mulch layer completely changed that. I learned this the hard way after losing a lot of good plants to the summer heat. Once I started protecting the soil, gardening became a joy again instead of a daily chore. So what is the best organic mulch to use for your containers? Let us break down the top materials you can use right now. Material number 1 is fine wood bark. You want the small shredded pieces. Bark is excellent because it takes a very long time to break down. It creates a thick, heavy blanket over the soil. When you water the plant, the water flows right through the bark and sinks deep into the soil. It also looks very clean and highly professional in your patio pots. Material number 2 is clean straw. This is a big favorite for organic vegetable growers. Straw is hollow, which means it is full of tiny pockets of air. This trapped air creates a brilliant layer of temperature insulation. It keeps the soil very cool during scorching days. Straw is also very cheap to buy. One single bale can cover dozens of large pots. Just make sure you buy clean straw and not cheap hay. Hay is full of weed seeds that will quickly turn your container into a weed farm. Material number 3 is dry leaves. If you are on a tight budget, this option is completely free. You can collect dry leaves from your yard and crush them up in your hands. Then drop them evenly over the soil. They work exactly like a natural forest floor. They block the intense sun and hold the deep moisture. Honestly, if you already have dry leaves in your yard, you may not need to buy anything at all. Material number 4 is coconut coir. This is made from the outside shell of coconuts. It is very light and holds water like a sponge. When you put a layer of coconut coir on top of your soil, it acts like a custom blanket. It looks very natural and stops the sun from drying the dirt below. Material number 5 is high-quality compost. You might think compost is just for feeding plants, but a thick layer of compost on top of the soil works as a great organic mulch. It protects the moisture and gives your plants a slow, steady supply of organic food every single time it rains. If you do not want to buy these materials, there is another option. We call it the living mulch. This is when you plant very small, shallow-rooted plants around the base of your main crop. Sweet alyssum or creeping thyme are great choices. For example, if you have a large pepper plant in a pot, you can plant trailing flowers around the edges. These small flowers act as a living green blanket. Their green leaves shade the soil, and their shallow roots usually compete much less than another large vegetable plant. It looks fantastic and protects the soil at the same time. Before we talk about the big mistakes, you need to know one amazing fact. Research has shown that mulch can dramatically slow moisture loss compared with bare soil. Even a thin protective layer can make a surprising difference on windy summer days. Now please pay close attention. Knowing what material to use is only half the battle. If you apply the mulch incorrectly, you will harm your plants. There are two big mistakes people make every single day. Mistake number one is the volcano method. This is when you pile the material up high against the main green stem of the plant. You must never do this. The stem needs good air circulation. Keeping wet mulch against the stem greatly increases the risk of stem rot and fungal disease. It can seriously weaken or even kill the plant over time. You must always leave a gap of about 2 inches around the bare base of the plant. Think of it like a round donut. The soil around the outer edges of the pot gets covered, but the center breathes freely. Mistake number 2 is covering dry dirt. The mulch is a powerful shield. If your potting soil is completely dry when you put the mulch on, the soil underneath is already dry and may repel water. The rain or your watering can will have a much harder time soaking in properly. Here is the exact step-by-step process you must follow today. First, take your hose or watering can and water the pot very deeply. Soak it until water runs heavily out of the bottom drainage holes. Wait 10 full minutes and water it deeply again if the potting mix was extremely dry. You want the dirt to act like a fully saturated sponge. Once the soil is completely soaked, then you add your mulch layer. Put down a layer about 2 inches thick. Do not make it too thin or the hot sun will still get through. Do not make it too thick or the deep roots will suffocate. About 2 inches is a good rule of thumb. Let us talk about 3 other great benefits you get completely for free. The first one is weed control. Weed seeds are constantly landing in your containers. When they land on bare, wet potting soil, they germinate instantly. Weeds steal precious water and food from your vegetables. But when you apply the 2-inch mulch method, those weed seeds never see the vital sunlight. They cannot grow in the dark. Your containers will remain much cleaner all season long. The second benefit is disease prevention. When you water bare soil, the dirty water splashes up onto the bottom leaves of your plants. That dirty water is full of fungal spores and bad bacteria. But when you have a soft layer of straw or bark, the water does not splash at all. It gently filters down into the soil, keeping your plant leaves clean and healthy. The third benefit is soil life. Inside your potting soil, there are millions of beneficial microbes and other soil organisms. They need a dark, moist environment to live. When the sun bakes bare soil, these helpful microbes die. The organic mulch protects their home. This keeps the soil alive and gives your plant roots a great boost in energy. And there is one last reason I never leave container soil uncovered anymore. The mulch regulates the soil temperature. Soil under mulch can stay several degrees cooler than exposed potting mix. During a summer heat wave, bare dark dirt gets extremely hot. That heat puts tremendous stress on delicate roots inside the plastic. This organic layer often keeps the soil noticeably cooler. This keeps the root system cooler and under less stress. How do you know when it is finally time to water again? You cannot just look at the surface anymore because the mulch hides the dirt. You need to use the simple finger test. Push the material aside and press your pointer finger about 2 inches down into the dark soil. If it feels dry at your fingertip, it is time to grab your watering can. If it still feels wet or damp, you can leave the plant alone for another day. This simple test stops you from accidentally overwatering your plants. Let us look at the final results. Before you used this secret, you were watering every single day. Your plants were highly stressed. The soil was a hard, dry brick. Now you have a professional layer of protection. Many gardeners find they can water much less often depending on the weather and container size. When you dig your finger under the dark mulch, the soil will feel cool and deeply damp. Your plants will stop fighting for daily survival and start producing lots of fruit and flowers. This one simple change takes a lot of the stressful work out of container gardening. You will save water and your valuable time. Tell me in the comments what you use to mulch your containers. I would love to read your ideas. If you found this helpful, give the video a like. Share it with a friend who is tired of watering pots every day. Subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss another gardening secret. Mulch solves moisture problems, but bright yellow leaves usually point to something completely different. If you do not fix it fast, you will lose your summer harvest. Click the video on your screen to find out exactly why your leaves are turning yellow and the one important thing you must do today to save them.